This is one of the best descriptions of hell I've ever heard. This guy died and went to hell, and he came back with a story and a half. Listen to this story, please, if you have 5 minutes, and listen to this because I think it's huge and it's important to hear this stuff, and it's fascinating and crazy.
So as I'm approaching him, I'm walking up to him. He got a blunt in his mouth, and he said, "Hey, you got a light, folks?" I'm like, wait a minute, okay. So as I'm digging in my pocket, all I saw was a green flash. I didn't even hear the first shot. It was a green flash of light, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden I start smelling, I don't know if y'all, what matches smell like when you burn a whole book of matches. I smelled matches. It's like sulfur smell. And then he got me again, and he looked me right in my face with this, like, "I got you." Like an evil man. It was so evil the way he looked at me. But before when I was falling backwards, as I'm falling, everything's leaving me. And I'm getting more and more afraid. Afraid is just the word I'm going to use because there's no word to describe it here on earth. It was terror. It was beyond terror, man. It's a different fabric of fear on the spiritual side. Everything is intense by a million. So as I'm falling, I start noticing this smell. That's the first thing that hit me was this smell, man. And the smell, it was so bad. Like, if you was to smell it right now, you would die. You would die. In the physical world, you would die. You could take all the dead bodies, all the dead animals, garbage, stir it up, heat it up, and it still won't get close to this smell. Because I want to explain to people, you do not lose your five senses because you die. Actually, they get worse. They get heightened. So you still can taste, touch, see, hear, smell, but it's way more exaggerated. You know what I mean? Like amplified, big time. So as I'm falling in this smell, I'm already beyond terror, but in this smell, then that's when I start noticing and start hearing noises, kind of like faint yells but then I saw this little drop of light. It was a little pin drop of light. And as I'm falling towards the light, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But then I'm instantly can see that it's like a portal. It's an opening, but it's like rocks. It's like rocks, a rock opening, like I'm falling into a cave. But these rocks was like yellow and piping hot. They was yellow, orange, white. It was like you can tell they were hot, like they just been in fire. And I felt the heat come from it. That's when and then I started hearing the yells and the screams. It had to be millions of people. See, that's why I was telling you about how your senses are heightened. The heightened is that when I was hearing those screams, you can individualize those screams. Since you can be hearing, like here on earth, we can hear like a crowd. Let's say if you're in a stadium and you can hear people cheering and it just seemed like a blur of noise. No, if you wanted to, on the other side, when you're in the spirit body, you can literally hear each individual simultaneously if you wanted to. You can hear all the noise at once, but yet individually at the same time. It's hard to explain, man. It's beyond our comprehension. Yeah. So as I'm falling through this portal and I hit the ground. Boom. I'm talking about with so much force, but yet when I got up, it felt like I was 900 pounds. I couldn't move. I couldn't move as fast as I could. I'm trying to get up. I can't even get up. I'm trying to breathe. Well, there's no oxygen down there, but I'm so used to being in a body. I'm trying to breathe, and there's no breathing down there. So that makes the anxiety even more worse because you feel like you're suffocating because you're so used to being in a body. So subconsciously, I'm thinking I'm in my body, but no, I'm in my spirit body, and I'm trying to breathe. So that's making me. But what really freaked me out because it was the same darkness, but you can see every once in a while, you can hear, and it was this pit right in front of me. But when this pit lit up, it lit up pretty much all, as far as your eye can see, there were thousands of pits. As far as your eyes can see. And that's when I started noticing all these pits, and they were lighting up all around me. But in these pits were people. It had to be 100 to 100 some people in each pit. But they would really, really started getting to me. And I want people to know, when you in the spirit world, see here, you only can get so much fear. What I mean by that, your fear caps off at a certain point. You only can get so terrified. But when you're in the spirit world, there is no capping off. It gets, just when you think it gets worse and you're terrified, it goes up. And it goes up a notch. And it goes up. And it doesn't stop. We take God for granted. Those little things, we always take them for granted. God is in every detail, in everything that we do that we take for granted. So even not being in the fear on a certain level comes from God indirectly, and we don't even notice it. But as I look, I saw these things, man. I'm talking about, the first one I saw was a giant, and it was like a reptile, like a reptilian look to it. I'm talking about muscles, huge. It got to be like 18 feet tall, 13 to 18 feet tall. These things are giants. Like, okay? And then some of them were small as this pen in my hand. Demons come in all sizes. They in all sizes, but they got the more of, a lot of them have a reptile look. They eyes, some of them eyes was red, some of them eyes was yellow, and they had a slit in them. All right? And they stink. The stench that I was smelling, it's like I'm telling you, every component is, man, it's but what got me was these people that was in the pits. They were trying to come out of the pit, and they were around the pit with these spear type things and all type of stuff, kicking them, laughing, and throwing them back in the pit. Some of these people look like pure skeletons that was burned. Some of them have flesh hanging off of them. Some of them look so tormented and beat. Yeah, it's deep, brother. It goes deep. It goes deep. And they were throwing them back in. And they screaming. But these pits go so far, as your eye can see. It had to be miles. And each pit had to be 100, 200 people in each pit. Okay, just a reference. I'm just, guesstimating, and man, like even when I recall it, I pause sometime because it's bad, man. It's bad. People down, even as we're speaking, it's happening. It's happening. Just like we're talking right now, we got brothers and sisters in prison, and our life goes on and moving around. Well, you got brothers and sisters, humanity in hell right now. And it's happening, with or without your belief. Hell don't want you to believe in it because it'll get you there. How can you fight an enemy if you don't believe it exists? That means you already lost. So they want you to think it's a fairy tale. They want you to think it's a game. They want you to keep chasing this stuff that's temporary so you can spend eternity there. They want you to think it's a fairy tale. They don't want you to believe in it. So those who say, dude, capping all, they say, okay, one thing that we all have in common as humans, we all gonna die. So I'm not here. I don't have to debate my experience. I'm just trying to give a warning. I'm doing what the Lord put me here to do, to give you a warning. I'm here to deliver the package. It is up to you to do what you will with the package that's being delivered. I'm just dropping it off. And one thing, when you're in eternity, you know everything. Meaning, I knew I was still on earth, but in a different dimension. And I hit this wall. It was like a mountain. But when I hit this wall and I looked up, there were cells, like jail cells, old school jail cells. Thousands of them, like a skyscraper. And I grew up in skyscrapers my whole life. Taller than that. I lived in skyscrapers on the 25th floor before. And it was higher than that. Built in the side of a mountain. Okay, you got people in these cells. But one thing, like I was saying earlier, that you know everything in the spirit world. I knew that these people been in there since the biblical times. Some of thousands of years. These people been in those cells. See? Literally, because people don't understand. We're so used to time. Time doesn't exist in eternity. It don't exist. Okay? Hope don't exist in that place. Okay? I've been locked up a couple of times. And let me tell you right now, when I was locked up, at least I had hope because I had an out date. I'm going to tell you what the Lord says. This is for the younger generation and for the older generation, because you got a lot of older people who's listening and doing the same thing the younger generation is doing, which is crazy to me. The Lord said, protect your gates. Your gates are your eyes and your ears. Because your eyes and your ears are the portals to your soul. So when you take in things, when you're watching things, you're listening to things, it's influencing your soul. Okay? So he said, protect your gates. So now if you young guys and women are listening to all day, blast, cast, blank, all day long. That's all you're listening to. Your soul is getting so corrupted and so filthy. Your actions, you don't even know how you act anymore. Your action, your spiritual reflex is now demonic. Because it's all demonic. It's only two lanes here. It's light and dark. There's no middle lane. Right and wrong, up and down. And when you bombard yourself with this music and watching these type of movies, you're becoming...
God wants us to protect our gates, our ears, and our eyes. And everything in this world is fake and corrupted by evil and by the devil. Hit follow, hit subscribe if you're not already. And I love you all. This is for your entertainment and educational purposes only.